How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is Miami Heat Association episode 5, and in today's episode we'll take on the Los Angeles Lakers in Los Angeles. So through the first 11 games of the season, Miami's record is 8-3. We're 7-3 in our last 10 games. The Lakers are also 7-3 in their last 10, but they've played one less game than us, so they're 7-3 overall. As you can see here, the talent discrepancy is pretty vast. We are coming into this game at 70 overall. The Lakers are coming in at 91 overall. A big part of that is because of the injuries that we've suffered in recent games. If you watched the last episode, you may have seen that Rodney Cycli suffered a fractured eye socket. He's out 2 to 4 weeks. A big blow for us. Through 11 games, he's averaging 17.3 points per game, 10.1 rebounds on 54% shooting and almost 80% free throw shooting. So we don't have any other front court player that can come close to replicating his production. So we also have Grant Long. He's coming back from back spasm, so I mean, he hasn't really missed any games, but he's only been kind of limited with his minutes. So we'll probably give more minutes to him in Cycli's absence. But otherwise, I mean, Billy Thompson's really going to have to step up for us. He's averaging 10 and 9. Billy Thompson's going to have to really step up for us in Cycli's absence. He's averaging 10 points and 9 rebounds per game on 50% shooting, but he's not your traditional sort of big man that you see in this era. He's more of a modern, what you would consider in the modern game, a 3-4. So at only 6'7", 220, he's playing power forward for us. I would say that's a little bit ahead of his time from what most of the front courts in this era look like. So he's probably going to have to step up his point and rebound production, but at center, I mean, all we have behind Cycli is Pat Cummings, and I don't really want to give him more minutes just because he's 34. He's one of the worst rated players on our team. He's played in 7 games and averaged I guess kind of close to 4 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, but only 30% shooting from the floor. So he's not going to be someone we're going to have to turn to. Terry Davis, he had a good game against the Celtics when we played, but in the sim action, I mean, he's been your classic, substandard bench role player. So we're going to need some more production from him. Tellis Frank is also out with a high ankle sprain. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. So that's 2 of our better front court players that we're going to be missing for the foreseeable future. So I don't expect in sim that we're going to be able to really continue this good start to the season that we've had. I think I'm probably going to play Glenn Rice at power forward a little bit just to see how he does. He's a big wing. He's 6'7", 215. So, he has C post defense, not a great rebounder, but at this point we don't have a lot of front court options. So probably going to move Kevin Edwards to small forward when Glenn Rice is at power forward. But again, Kevin Edwards is a small guard, 6'3", 190. Has pretty good perimeter defense, a little bit above average, but his size is probably going to hurt him playing defense on small forwards. But again, playing a small ball lineup might be something that we can use at times to mix up our looks. And then I think we'll just be playing a lot of John Sundfeld and Rory Sparrow at shooting guard, while Sherman Douglas is going to take even more responsibility, especially from a scoring standpoint, I think, here at point guard. So we'll have to see how this plays out against the Lakers, who are coming into this game with one of the better rosters in this file. You saw the overall discrepancy earlier. We're coming in at 70 overall. The Lakers are over 90, and they're led by Magic Johnson, still a top 5 player in the league, but his stats are a little bit down this year in comparison to his sort of historical figures. But I mean, he's still averaging 15 points, 7 rebounds, almost 10 assists a game. Shooting percentage is down a little bit, but his turnovers are also down. So we'll have to see how he does against us. He's coming in on a streak where he hasn't played particularly great. 17, 10, and 6 is a pretty good outing, but for Magic, that's probably below average or right at his average. So he has had a game this year where he went for 39 and 14 in a win against the Mavericks. So we'll have to see which Magic shows up against us. I know I've played against him a few times just in slider testing and whatnot, and just exhibition games that I've played. And he's a load. He's going to be really tough to handle, I think, especially at that size. And Sherman Douglas is right at 6 feet. So we're going to have to probably send multiple guys to defend him. So here's James Worthy coming into this game. He's averaging 18.1 points and 6.9 rebounds. Shooting percentage is a little bit lower than the historical figures, but shooting a little bit better from three. He's actually hit more threes this year than really at any point in his career for a whole season. So that's a pretty interesting stat to take note of. But you know what you're going to get from Big Game James. I think he's going to definitely present a problem for us. Again, this size, the Magic at 6'9" and James at 6'9", with some of the front court guys that are out, it's going to be a lot to kind of defend the paint and hopefully hold these guys from scoring over us too much. Byron Scott, 14 points a game, 3 assists, so he's averaging about 32 minutes per game. He's also 28 years old, so he'll be a pretty worthy guard for Kevin Edwards to defend at shooting guard. Orlando Woolridge, it'll be interesting to see how much the Lakers play him against us. So far through the first 10 games, he's only averaging 12 minutes a game. His stats are pretty good for a per minute basis, but he's not starting, and he's only averaging 7 points per game. So he's the 4th highest rated player on the Lakers. Well, tied for 4th with Michael Cooper and AC Green. So we'll see how much time off the bench they give him. But again, at 6'9", 215, the Lakers are really a big team, and I expect they're going to give us a lot of trouble. Michael Cooper, he's averaging 4.7 points, 3.1 rebounds. He's 33, so definitely on the he's past his prime for sure, only averaging around 17 minutes per game. So he's also not starting, but these are going to be players that we're going to have to worry about our second unit going up against. And this Heat team that we have right now just, I don't think, has the depth to kind of match up against, especially some of these bench players the Lakers are going to be throwing our way. AC Green, a steady inside presence, 10 points, 8.5 rebounds. Shooting percentage is down a little bit for where he's at career-wise, but he'll be kind of the starting 4 that we're gonna have to send Thompson at, Billy Thompson. So he's much bigger than Billy, a couple inches taller and weighs more. So just another one of these power forwards that Billy is going to have to battle against. And then the rest of the lineup, we have Vlade. He is in his rookie season. So the first round pick out of Serbia is averaging 14 minutes per game. He started a couple games, 5.5 points, 4.2 rebounds. He's going to be someone that it looks like he's going to be trying to block some shots. He's actually played 33 minutes in his last outing, 14 points, 12 rebounds against the Magic. And I think he's actually starting right now because Michael Thompson is suffering from a broken nose. He's still out 1 to 2 weeks. So we might see Thompson still off the bench. It looks like he's still played in every game for the Lakers. But his minutes are down. They're just kind of easing him back into action right now. So he only played 9 minutes against the Bucks, 8 minutes against the Magic. So I think we'll probably see more of Vlade than Michael Thompson, the father of Klay Thompson. So that's pretty much the Lakers lineup. I think, if all goes according to plan in this game, I kind of want to see the Lakers handle us. I think just looking at the roster comparison, they should beat us by at least 15 points. We played our first game on Superstar difficulty last game against the Celtics, where we kind of cruised past Boston, and it wasn't even as close as that final score. I'm going to hope that score sort of was the way it was because we fought Larry Bird out in 16 minutes, and Boston just never really got into a groove the whole game with him in foul trouble. So we'll test out Superstar against the Lakers, who are one of the better teams in the file. Hope to see us get beat pretty handily. I'm definitely going to try to win. I'm never going to intentionally do bad or try to lose. I want to give my best effort and see how the CPU responds. And if we feel, if we feel like we should win this game, or we do win this game, then I definitely think we're going to have to bump this up to Hall of Fame, the rest of this association. So, but as you can see here, I mean, they're the third best team in the league rating wise, and we're at 27 right now with our injuries. And that includes, some of those 25 overall rated teams. So, and there's 3 of them in this association. So, with 30 teams in the league, and we're 27th overall in talent right now coming into this game, that means we're pretty much last in the league among regular teams from an overall standpoint. So we should lose this one pretty handily. We'll see. I'll start this one up now, and I'll see you guys in the post game for sort of analysis, highlights, walk you through the stats, and we'll see what happens.
Welcome to basketball fans to today's sports. It's Wednesday night basketball. It's the Miami Heat facing off against the Los Angeles Lakers. And the first quarter is just about ready to go. Let's get it.
And now a quick check of our starting lineups for both teams. And guys, what are we going to be looking for in this one from Johnson?
Well, you always know that you can count on to make a play offensively. Big pass, big shot, whatever it is. He's got great awareness of what's going on the court.
And there's something else on his resume that can't be overlooked. Just how many times he's taken over at the end of close games and carried his team to the win.
The Heat will play just this one game on the road before returning back home to Miami. They've come out very strong. Their early season play has been excellent.
Checking out Miami, they've actually taken the NBA by storm since the season kicked off. They put themselves right in the mix with the league's top teams when most people thought they'd be bottom feeders.
And I know it's early, Clark, but the way they've looked, I think they'll be in that mix all the way to the end.
Back to Johnson. Rocket 6. Defended by Douglas. Goes up to the stripe. And the basket by Johnson.
This season, a lot of folks had the Lakers picked as the super team in the West. The team that would maybe challenge Miami and LeBron, but from the start.
Into Green. Scott up top. With nobody on. There is what's going to happen when a team is put together. And Steve, they just couldn't reach that bar that was set so high for them.
Yeah, the expectations were so high, Kevin, but injury issues cost them all season long. Nash, Howard, Powell, and of course Kobe with the Achilles at the end of the year. And that unit only started 7 games
all away by Magic. And here's the fast break. Scott leading the way. The shot is off. Puts up the baby hook. And we've got an injury on the floor. Very unfortunate as always, guys. I don't like to see this.
Injuries are such a difficult part of this game.
And from a glance, you really can't tell just how bad it is, but he's going to come out and we'll find out now how bad.
James Worthy on the way. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
At the line for your
Lakers shooting their 3rd and 4th free throw attempts of the game.
And as a team, they're shooting about 75% on the year.
You know, the numbers from the line, guys, are close to where they were last.
He knows they're up against an excellent defensive ball and is offensive.
The Heat trail by 5. Feeds it to Douglas. Leads him in there. Ball. That's good with a Douglas assist. Pass to D-Bucks on the wing, and that one's good. Wow. Rice, Worthy defending. That's good.
Boy, he made him.
Johnson kicks it over to Worthy. Finds the bottom of the bucket from Cook. Edwards with it. Now defended by Scott. And it's the Lakers on the break. It's tipped. Oh, and a fast break for the Heat. Here's Rice. And a foul on the shot. Will go to the stripe for 2. First trip to the free throw line for him in this one.
You know, last game he turned in a really nice performance at the charity stripe.
Yeah, it really stands out when you look back at the numbers from that.
Lillard just checked in for Los Angeles.
Thing he's put up in this period.
Pass to Edwards. Shoots from the corner. A second chance effort. And the layup is up and in. Long's outside. Scott. Johnson outside. No one near him. Nice jump shot. Thompson passes to Drew. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the case so far in this season. Right now, they lead the back up front in the first spot with the best record. And, of course, the Heat, a game and a half out.
Checking out Miami. With the way they start.
Me, but he's looked a step slow since the start of the quarter. His shooting has really suffered.
Woolridge, Edwards defending. Offensive rebound, and the layup is good.
And coming back out fresh will give you a chance to pull together.
Thompson, he's checked in for Miami. Releases from 15, rebounded by the Lakers. And it's the Lakers on the break. A nice shot by Woolridge. Shot clock at 5. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him. Catch up on some numbers here. Scoring breakdown for Los Angeles.
Boy, they've come out of that locker room with the hot hand. Those jumpers have been falling for them.
Here's Cooper. Douglas with the steal. Oh, and a fast break for the Heat. Here's Cummings. Thompson with the rebound.
Now, he was right there, but the defensive pressure forced that miss.
Well contested. That really made it a tough shot.
Douglas. Gets to the rim for 2.
Well, he's got to watch himself now. That's 2 fouls already. He can't afford another.
For Los Angeles, they have been at their finest foot at the free throw line tonight. 8 attempts, 8 makes. Both teams deciding to change it up. So he hits one of dishes to Cummings. Puts the lead pass in front of him. And Edwards with the stuff. I like that they're taking it inside and taking advantage of each opportunity.
Yeah, and I think the interior defense, as good a job offensively as we saw. The defensive presence was almost non-existent. They may see this lead disappear if they continue to give up those easy points.
Domination in the first quarter has been pretty lopsided. Lakers lead by 12. And back with the start of the second quarter. Are pretty much in control here.
And you get a chance early on to see their depth. They got a nice effort from their bench players early in this game.
Yeah, Steve, I tell you what, their subs have really packed the punch for them so far.
They've got Drew. He's out there with Cooper. Thompson is out there with Vincent. That's who's in the game for the Lakers.
That's the risky run by staying out there as he picks up his third.
The Heat take it the other way. Tipped away. Pass to Rice. Lets it go from deep. That's good. Defended by Wall. Here's Cooper. Buries the long-range jumper. Number 2, defended by Vincent. Passes it to Rice. And that one goes long.
When he's wide open like that, he'll rarely miss those.
Here's Johnson. Defender touch on the finger roll. Just under 2.5 minutes gone by. Thompson against Scott. Lets it fly. Up and in with a jumper near the hoop. They've gone 2 of 4 shooting the ball here in the second. Now the pass to Rice. Number 2. Money from the wing. 12. Johnson with it. Now guarded by Douglas. Shot from the wing. And there's another one. Long, defended by Divac. And fouled at that time. They'll get to the line and shoot 2. It's going to go on James Worthy.
Well, you allow them to get right to the rim like that. That's your only option.
Yeah, I think you got to foul him. Free throws are better than a layup.
The Heat have been successful on 3 of their 4 free throw attempts up to this point. Both free throws good from Rice. He feeds it to Worthy. Just 5 to shoot. The fadeaway. That is good. Tom Douglas, defended by Scott. Down low. The shot's good from Douglas. And 2 free throws.
Points, and he's been a good on-the-ball defender, too. He's got a pair of steals.
Yeah, he's made some heads-up plays, Clark. He's done a really nice job defensively.
Cummings is checked in for Miami. Takes the lead pass. It's stolen by Devos. And now here's Johnson, the fast break chance. Feeds to Scott. And good coming off the assist by Magic Johnson. There's the feed to Douglas. And the shot counts. He's fouled. It's a chance for a three-point play.
Yeah, beautiful drive there. Going right around the bigger man.
First trip to the free throw line for him tonight. The Heat make it. Here's the pass to Edwards. Rice, worthy defending. The shot's good from Rice. And it comes off the front of the rim. The Heat have gone 6 of 8 from the field in the second quarter. Douglas the pass to Rice. And he goes in for the... Rice, defended by Scott. Had a chance there to cut it to single digits, but it's off target. Johnson kicks it over to Worthy. That one goes. A 12-point game. Worthy kicks to Johnson. Defended by Douglas. High, in the shot. And the shot is pass to Edwards. To the middle, Douglas is guarded by Johnson. The basket, the bump, and the foul. Oh, what a play.
The number of points they've scored in the paint already today is pretty eye-opening.
Johnson penetrating. Here's McCants. That's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Well, what a series it was in the finals a year ago. Such great basketball. 2 teams that like to play up-tempo. And I'll tell you, the Spurs had Miami. They had the series in the bag. They were 1 play away from wrapping it up in Game 6.
Douglas with it. He's got 12. And there's the pass to Rice. That's in, coming off an ice assist.
Did a miracle, and they found it in the form of timely three-point shooting and got some help from the San Antonio Spurs missing some free throws.
The Game 6 was about as intense an NBA game as you'll ever see.
It was off the chart. Absolutely fantastic.
For Miami, they have been good at the free throw line. This one, 7 of 8.
And you take a look at the statistics. This club is shooting 7.
Edwards against Woolridge. Shot clock at 6. Davis kicks to Edwards. And he makes it look easy, dunking it hard into it.
Yes, sir. That may put a little life back into this team.
Here's Worthy. Laid in with a nice touch off the block. Now here's Douglas. 12 points for him. Thompson, left side. And the space there, but it's offline.
Well, he's wide open there, but really struggles from that game. Maybe there's a reason Joe Johnson.
And stolen by Worthy. Here's the break. Woolridge with it. Picked up by Davis. From 17 feet out. There's 42 seconds left here in the second. Oh, boom, he jams it. Dishes it to Worthy. Working on Cummings. 8 feet away. Again, the Lakers. He's made the most of his trip. Los Angeles on top. They lead by 14. Time now for the halftime break. With the third quarter soon to follow. Right here on 2K Sports. Edwards is out there to Thompson. And it's Rice in at the 3, the small forward. Rice. And here's Edwards. Inside. That's blocked by Worthy. Johnson kicks to Devos. Worthy. The 11-footer. That's good on the jump shot. Worthy's got 17.
I really like the set they ran there.
Edwards passes to Rice. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2.
Well, you look at the Lakers' struggles last season. I think it surprised most of us. Some of it was injuries. Part of it was just a lack of production off different people who were on that bench. So, difficult season for the Lakers.
Here's Scott. The kick out to Worthy. And the 3-ball is good.
On the outside. Good offense.
Pass to Rice. And count it. 2 points with a chance for one more at the free throw.
You know, Kevin, I think for the Lakers, the bold strokes for the star players have been impressive, but it's the fun.
Well, we're into the third quarter. Just over 2.5 minutes played. Here's Rice. That's good with a dust in that topmost position. And, of course, the San Antonio Spurs. Right there with them. They're all tied up atop the stand.
You know, right now for the Lakers, they've been outstanding so far this season. Of course, we knew what a great team they have, but that doesn't make it any less impressive. They've really gotten everybody's attention.
To the paint. It's stolen by Divac. And it's the Lakers on the break. Throws down at the coast-to-coast. Outside Worthy. Pass to Scott. Edwards there. Fires from the line. And again, it's Byron Scott. And the pass to Long. Just 5 on the clock. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
Well, he's such a mean screen. I know that. I mean, guys just tend to bounce off his body when he sets up and screens off a defender. So you love having a guy like the game.
Cooper, he's checked in for Byron Scott. The drive by Worthy. There's Divac. That's good. And the Lakers on 1 of 2 from beyond the arc since coming out of the break. Pass to Cooper. Back to Johnson. Nice passing here by Los Angeles. Shaw, touch off the glass. And here's Los Angeles. Spraying it together. They've got an 11-2 run going. Cooper with the bucket. No good. Clark, they've been looking out of sync offensively.
You know what? A basket here would do a lot for their confidence.
The 11-footer. Another miss by Worthy.
You can see how much
Deeping their way down low.
Passes it to Edwards. All alone. And against the... Kicks it to Worthy. Edwards there. And here's Johnson outside. But they recover it. Cooper the pass to Divac. And there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. And a closer look here at the hustle stats for the Lakers.
I thought we might see a little defensive adjustment at halftime, but
for them tonight are the turnovers they forced.
In the first points of the game. Pass to Cooper. Shoots a fader. Thompson tips it back in. Now they're on a 19-6 run. Cooper kicks to Scott. Plenty of space. And that one's good. Step out of 11. Thompson left side. That's in. Coming off an ISIS and miss. Here's Douglas. Takes it into the teeth of the knee. And here's Cooper. 5 to shoot. And the basket good.
I think the game plan needs to change here, guys, if they're going to get out of the hole, because he's not helping their offense.
And there's the rebound. Rebound was going to go to.
And then the nifty touch to tip it in. That was beautiful.
Count that one. 6 seconds left in the third. Thompson. Worthy with the defensive effort.
Tough D on the inside.
Put up a roadblock. Construction barrel right there. That's what he brings defensively.
And at the end of the third quarter, a huge lead. This one may already have been decided. And it's Green, and it's Divac at the pivot spot, manning the middle. That's who's in the game for the Lakers. Scott dishes to Worthy. 6 on the shot clock. The 15-footer. They grab their own miss. The kick out to Scott. He feeds it to Johnson. Dishes to Green. Scott. Pass to Worthy. Pump the basket and the foul. Blanks. And so he's picked up his final foul. And he will sit for the rest of this game. Edwards, he's checked in for Miami. Free throw drops for Worthy.
Everybody starts to get comfortable and relaxed, and everything goes in the hoop.
Cummings kicks to Edwards. To the inside. And stolen by Worthy. 60 seconds off the clock here in the fourth. Shots good by Divac. Passes it to Edwards. Off the glass. That one's down to 5 on the shot clock. He passes to Johnson. Banked in off the glass. Johnson's got... And we're about shot. 2 minutes into the fourth quarter now. Edwards. And it's Miami with another.
All right, everyone, I think it's time to pull the plug on this one and just sim to the end of the game, especially with Glenn Rice fouling out. I don't think I want to keep playing another 9 minutes against these Lakers with such a depleted roster right now. So I'm just going to sim to end here, and we'll recap everything here in the post game with some highlights and final stats and all of that. So a pretty tough one here, as expected, though. Glad to see superstar difficulty give us this game from the Lakers after sort of the lackluster effort the Celtics gave in the last one. So let's sim to end here, and then we'll go over everything here in the post game. All right, everyone, we have simmed to the end of the game, and in the final score is the Lakers 113, the Miami Heat 81. So the player of the game, and it could have been James Worthy, Magic Johnson, Byron Scott gave us a hard time, but in the end it ended up being James Worthy. He was a big reason why the Lakers fouled out Glenn Rice. He attacked him, even though Glenn Rice had a number of good moments against the veteran from North Carolina. I think James Worthy ended up being the real difference in this one. He was all over the place defensively, offensively, making a couple three-point shots which were a little unexpected. He really played a complete floor game, passing as well, as you can see here with the pass to Magic and the paint for the layup. Big game James certainly lived up to the billing and is the player of the game. 25 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists in 34 minutes. So we'll go through the final box here. As you can see here, James Worthy, 9 of 18 from the floor, 2 of 3 from three-point land, plus 13 plus minus. Magic Johnson, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, 9 of 17 from the floor. Byron Scott, 14 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. Here's Vlade Divac, who had a good game in his rookie season. He started for the Lakers in this one. I thought he gave them a pretty good post presence. So here's Vlade with 10 and 7. And then through the rest of the lineup, Michael Thompson, who normally starts for the Lakers, only played 8 minutes as he's recovering from a broken nose. Orlando Woolridge, AC Green, Michael Cooper, Larry Drew, 7 points in 9 minutes, and Mel McCants with 7 points in 7 minutes. And then also Mark McNamara, who had 7 points in 8 minutes. So some good minutes from the Lakers bench in this one. Not a lot of time between some of these players, but they definitely came in and made the most of it with their scoring output. On the Heat side of things, Glenn Rice in foul trouble, as we've kind of highlighted in this one. Had 24 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 8 of 11 shooting, 1 of 1 from 3, but he just wasn't on the floor enough. He only had a -6 plus minus when he was in the game, but when he was out, you can kind of see some of my other starters, those plus minus really got much worse. -21 for Sherman Douglas, a -20 from Kevin Edwards, -20 from Grant Long. It was just pretty brutal. We played pretty well, I thought, in the first half, even though, I don't think we got within single digits anymore. And if we did, it might have been 8 points or something. But I thought we hung tough for the most part until really the third quarter is when it kind of got away from us. Kevin Edwards with 6 turnovers in this game, 15 points, 6 rebounds. He missed a lot of his mid-range jumpers that he's been making in a lot of these other games that we've been playing. So not a good effort from him. Grant Long, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Billy Thompson had a sprained ankle in this one. You might have seen it during the highlights. Happened sort of at the start of the game. Sprained his ankle and was only 3 of 11 from the field, 7 points, 11 rebounds. John Sundfeld, 3 points, 1 assist, 1 of 4 from the field, nothing much from him. Not much either from Rory Sparrow. Pat Cummings was 16 minutes off the bench, 1 assist, 1 turnover, nothing from him. Terry Davis, 5 turnovers, 0 of 4 from the field, 0 points, 6 rebounds. So, man, just a tough game for the Heat. Really was non-competitive after I thought we kind of hung in there in the first half. But credit to the Lakers. They were way more talented than us. They're way bigger than us. This is what they are expected to do to a team like us, I think. and we just didn't get enough minutes from Glenn Rice. He was in foul trouble, and he was productive in his minutes. It was just James Worthy really put him in foul trouble early and just couldn't recover. So final team stats: the Lakers shoot 54% from the floor. We shoot 45%. Going through the rest of the numbers: 18 fast break points, 54 points in the paint. We've kind of highlighted the Lakers bench, how productive it was. The rebounding battle was pretty even, but they had 16 steals and we had 3 steals. 21 turnovers in total, which they scored 22 points off of. So we didn't shoot that badly from the field, but it just felt like we kept committing horrible turnovers, which led to easy buckets it led to easy fast break points for the Lakers. We held it in the first quarter. We hung in there, and then I think they really took over in the latter portion of the quarter. But in the second quarter, they only outscored us by 2. We shot 69% from the floor, but they shot 67%, and we ended up turning the ball over a couple of times in the quarter. They had 4 steals. We had 5 total turnovers in the second quarter. So even though we shot really well, I thought our offense was doing pretty good. Those turnovers that led to fast break points helped the Lakers keep us at arm's length. And then in the third quarter, they almost outscored us by double digits. Again, they had 9 more shots than us in this quarter. So again, we didn't shoot too poorly from the field, but they had 6 fast break points, and we committed a couple of turnovers as well, 5 more turnovers, which they had 6 points off of. And then in the fourth quarter, we played a little bit at the beginning, and then we simmed the rest of it, especially after Glenn Rice fouled out. Didn't really see too much point in playing out the string in a game that we were going to lose by 20 to 30 points anyway. So a rough one here from Miami. Definitely a humbling experience here in Hollywood, but I thought, considering we've dealing with the injuries that we're dealing with, Ronnie Cycli's not playing, we have some guys banged up. We had a guy get banged up in the game. That's about what I expected, and we'll move on to the next one. All right, so let's unpack some things after that 113-81 loss to the Lakers. We are currently 8-4 on the season, but I think we're going to struggle over the next couple of games. Ronnie Cycli out 2 to 4 weeks with a broken eye socket, as we've mentioned. Now sprained ankle day-to-day for Billy Thompson. His ratings are down. Grant Long is just recovering from back spasms. Tellus Frank is still out 4 to 6 weeks with a high ankle sprain. So we're going to sim a few games here and also do a little bit of scouting of the draft class. And I think I'm going to advance a number of games here, just because the next games I want to play, I hope to have the full complement of the roster to play with. So let's get into some scouting now and go through some more of the prospects. I think we're going to send some scouts to look at some of the mid-lottery to late lottery guys. Let's send a scout to Lionel Simmons. Small forward, 6'7", 210. Pretty good handling, pretty good athleticism, pretty good outside shooting. Average perimeter defender. Not a good post defender, so definitely a wing, but he looks pretty promising. So I'm going to send Stan Van Gundy his way to get some scouting time in. And then the next person I'll scout, let's look at Travis Mays here. Not a good rebounder or average perimeter defender, but pretty good outside shooter, good IQ, good handling, good athleticism. He looks like he's kind of a combo guard. So let's send another scout his way as well and see what we get back on him. It looks like he has a badge as well. I'm not sure which badge that is. I think it's he doesn't get cold, or he can't get a cold streak, it looks like. But I'm not familiar with all the sort of abilities and badges or whatever you call them in this game. So that's something I'm going to have to familiarize myself with as I play this one more, as I'm kind of used to the new 2Ks where, all those badges and abilities, there's just so many of them. So I can't remember all the ones that are in this game, but I think that's what that one is. So we sent some scouts out, and now let's go through and sim some games and see how we do. All right, in the second game of the back-to-back against the Lakers, it looks like we gave a pretty good effort in this one at home, but end up losing by 11, which is exactly how much the Lakers outscore us in the fourth quarter. So the Heat lose again to the Lakers 100-89 after a really productive first quarter, and then the offense looks like it fell off after that. So let's go into the box score here to check out more details of what happened. It looks like Billy Thompson, he's recovering from a sprained ankle still, but he led the way with 17 points. Kevin Edwards, 16, 9, and 5, so a pretty good all-around game from him. Really nice game for Terry Davis, 15 and 6. Sherman Douglas, 12, 4, and 9 on 6 of 8 shooting, so maybe we could have got him some more shots in this one. Not a great outing from Glenn Rice. He played much more in this one and didn't get into foul trouble, but 3 of 16 from the field, 0 of 7 from 3, 9 points, 7 rebounds. So definitely not nearly as good of an outing as he had when we were using him in the game that we just recorded. Pat Cummings, 6 points. Rory Sparrow, 6 points. John Sundfeld, 6 points. But just not enough firepower to keep up with the Lakers, who are led by Magic, who put together a 20-13-7 game, hit 2 threes. Vlade Divac with a really nice game, 16, 9, and 4, as he continues to hold the starting role while Michael Thompson is recovering from an injury. James Worthy, 16 and 6, a quieter game for him this time in Sim than when we played him, but effective nonetheless. And then some more guys in double figures for the Lakers. It looks like they had 6 guys in double figures. Orlando Woolridge, Mel McCants, Byron Scott. So Mel McCants, he really put together some good outings against us. 7 points in 7 minutes the first time, and then 10 points in 10 minutes. So the second round pick out of Purdue, the rookie, put together some really productive outings against us in this 2-game series. And AC Green, 12 rebounds to lead them in rebounding. But yeah, 49% shooting from the floor, not too bad, but 1 of 13 from 3. Kind of Glenn Rice's outing really put a damper on our shooting stats, because otherwise I think everyone else shot pretty well from the floor. Also struggled from free throws, 8 of 15, while the Lakers were 22 of 26, so that's certainly a big difference. So we've dropped 2 in a row, both to the Lakers though, so no real shame in that. Plus with all the guys who are injured still out, we'll have to see if we can get back on a winning streak, but it doesn't get any easier. We play the 88 overall Suns, the 81 overall Cavaliers, and then we might get a reprieve when we play the Raptors and their 25 overall players on their roster. So let's sim through the rest of the month and see how these sim games go, and then we'll take a look at how much longer some of the guys who are injured it'll take for them to come back before we start playing some additional contests. So let's get back to simming. So the Heat dropped their 3rd straight game, this time to the Phoenix Suns, who are 7 and 7. We fall to 8 and 6 after a 107-88 defeat. Sherman Douglas and Glenn Rice paced the way for the Heat in this one. 25 points, 4 rebounds, 5 steals for Sherman in this one. Glenn Rice, 21 points, 4 rebounds, but 10 of 23 from the field. So a much better shooting outing than he had last game, but still nothing to write home about. 23 shots and 21 points is not great. Didn't get to the free throw line either, and was minus 19, so that looks like the worst on the team. So, I mean, some of these guys who are playing are logging some heavier minutes, which is to be expected considering the injuries we have. But yeah, it doesn't look like we really had any other standouts from this game. Terry Davis, 10 and 7 is pretty good for him, 2 blocks, but not nearly enough as, wow, Tom Chambers just went off. 45 points, 13 rebounds on 19 of 30 shooting. Chambers is actually leading, I'm pretty sure that would be leading the NBA in scoring through 14 games. 31 points per game, shooting almost 55% from the floor and 45.5% from 3. What a year Tom Chambers is having so far. And he certainly had his way with us, 45 and 13. And then Kevin Johnson, who's also having a pretty good year in his 3rd year out of Cal, 21 points, 10 assists, 3 steals. Eddie Johnson having a down year for his standards from a scoring perspective, but 15 and 10 against us. And then kind of looking through the rest of the box score, no other standouts. But these three guys certainly led the way. And Tom Chambers, 45 points in 40 minutes. Doesn't get much better than that. We'll head to the Cleveland game now, where it looks like we're going to be playing a road tilt in Cleveland against a Cavs team that is 10-4 and 8-2 in their last 10. So I don't expect a dub in this one, but we'll see. The Heat have now lost 4 in a row after a 95-83 defeat to the Cavaliers. Doesn't look like this one was particularly close after they really got us in the second quarter and held serve pretty much the rest of the way as the Cavs improved to 11-4. We dropped to 8-7. Looks like Mark Price led the way for Cleveland, 19-9, hit 5 threes. John Williams, averaging 14 and 7 almost. He goes for 16 and 8 against us. Brad Daugherty, we actually held him in check pretty well with our depleted front court, but he still puts together 14 and 10. Craig Elo, 11, 4 and 3. Larry Nance, 7 and 11. So just an all-around solid effort from the Cavs, while we again led by an inefficient Glenn Rice, 23 points on 24 shots. It was 8 of 24 from the field, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Sherman Douglas only 1 assist, which is far below his season average of 7.3. So that certainly is not a good number we like to see. 13, 4 and 5 for Kevin Edwards on inefficient 6 of 17. Pat Cummings with a pretty strong game off the bench, 9 and 10 in 15 minutes. That's pretty good for him considering he's averaging 4 and 4 on the year. Billy Thompson recovered from his ankle injury now, but only 8, 10 and 4. Terry Davis 4 and 10. John Sundfeld 7, 3 and 2. So we shoot 35 of 88 from the floor, which is not great. 40% overall. We held the Cavs at 38% shooting, but they just killed us at the free throw line. We were only 9 of 10 while they're 28 of 41. So we shot a way better percentage, but when you have 41 attempts and we have 10, man, that must have been some serious home cooking for the Cavs. Man, we had to have been in foul trouble in that game. Yeah, Glenn Rice, 5 fouls. Sherman Douglas, 4 fouls. Kevin Edwards, 4 fouls. 5 fouls for Terry Davis. Yeah, the refs were cooking it up real good for the Cavs in this one. Who got to the free throw line? Looks like pretty much everyone did. No single player was getting to the stripe a lot, but when you have 9 attempts, Brad Daugherty, 8, Craig Elo, 5 for Williams, and then a steady stream of free throws for all these bench guys. Yeah, that looks like that was the biggest difference in the game. Second chance points maybe, but that free throw disparity. All right, the Heat get the antidote they need as they cruise past the hapless Raptors, 102-52. Won't go through this box score too much because it's pretty much meaningless stat padding. But 26, 4 and 8 for Sherman Douglas, 25, 15 and 5 for Glenn Rice, 13 and 10 for Kevin Edwards. Wow, we just had 4 guys with double-digit rebounds. That's pretty unreal. I certainly haven't seen rebounding numbers like that in really any of these box scores. We shoot 52% from the floor. The Raptors shoot 31. I have to check out the total rebounding numbers. Yeah, 24 offensive rebounds, 51 defensive rebounds. Man, we out-rebounded the Raptors. What is that, 75-29 in this one? Man. I had a lot of turnovers, though, which certainly we've seen that when we've played some games where we've got a bit of a turnover bug. 54 points was the biggest lead in this one. Yeah, not too much to take away from these box scores against the expansion level team. So we'll cruise into December at 9-7 overall, still first place even in the division, even after that losing streak. Half game up on the Hawks, a game and a half up on the Magic. So good to see that we're still in first, even after we struggled there for a little bit. So let's go into some more prospect scouting. Looks like we have some more evals that we can take care of. So who do I want to scout next? Willie Burton, 6'8", 210, small forward. Not really too intrigued by him. I am a little interested in Tyrone Hill. He looks like a really good rebounder, an inside scorer, good athleticism, but it's not going to give me much of anything outside of the paint. But I do like that he has the 2 badges there. Good hands maybe, or is it blocking? Not too sure what those are. But yeah, I mean, our front court is pretty bad right now, to be perfectly honest. So this is him to scout his way as I'm looking at the Bobcats there. I don't want to scout them with the Bobcats. They will not be picking any real players in these drafts that I'm doing. I will be drafting them, the fake players that are in a draft, to keep them with their 25 overall rated players. So I already forgot who I was looking at scouting. Okay, yeah, Tyrone Hill. We'll send Stan Van Gundy his way. And then I do want to look at some of these guys I've already scouted. I'll probably look at those scouting reports a little bit more in depth as I go through the season and learn a little bit more about them. Gerald Glass, someone I could be interested in, a good outside shooter, good IQ, good athleticism, not going to handle the ball too much or rebound, and is an average defender, but I do like the 6'5", 221 size. We do need shooting guard, small forward, wing players. I feel like we have more combo guards on our roster, but not so much like pure wings. So let's send a scout his way as well, since we haven't evaluated him yet, and see what Gerald Glass is looking like more in depth. All right, guys, we are in December, and on December 1st, we cruise past the winless Charlotte Bobcats. Again, another win where I don't count it too much because it's another expansion team. Go through the box score really quick. 21-13 Glen Rice, 18-5-9 for Sherman. 17 points off the bench. Really strong game from John Sunfeld here. Terry Davis, 8 and 19. Kevin Edwards, 10 and 10. Billy Thompson, 8 and 11. So it looks like these box scores, the rebounding numbers, are the ones that are really out of whack. Yeah. What is this? 87 rebounds to 43. That's pretty ridiculous. We don't shoot that well, but when the other team shoots 22%, it's 25% from the free throw line. Those rebounding numbers are going to happen, so we won't pay too much attention to that box score. Let's keep going. The Detroit Pistons, wow, 95 overall. Detroit Pistons, 11-6 record. We're 10-7. Definitely expecting an L in this one to stop our 2-game winning streak, which we've gotten against the expansion teams. But hey, we'll take it. The other teams in the league are playing those teams too, so all those wins kind of just eventually even out when everyone is getting wins against those teams. So we'll sim to the Detroit game and see what happens in this one. I don't expect to win, especially with that overall difference, but you never know. We are at home, so let's see. As expected, the Pistons down the Heat 109-86. We dropped to 10-8 overall. The Pistons are 12-6 now. Glen Rice had a pretty good game, 28-5 on 11-22 from the field, so 50% shooting. Billy Thompson, 17-11. John Sunfeld, another good game off the bench. But a couple of our other starters really struggled. Kevin Edwards, 2 of 11 from the field. Sherman Douglas, only 6, 5, and 7 with 2 of 9 from the field. Terry Davis, good 4 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 blocks. That's a pretty good game for him considering his sort of stature on the team, but he did shoot 1 of 9, so that'll kind of cancel out the good he did on the backboards and on defense. 17 turnovers. So again, that's kind of been a bugaboo for us in playing games and in sim. Meanwhile, Detroit was led by Mark Aguirre, who's coming off the trade from the Dallas Mavericks last season. So this is his first full season with Detroit. averaging almost 17 and 5 a game, and he went off for 27, 6 and 3 in this one. We have James Edwards go for 18 and 8. Joe Dumars had a pretty good game, 50% shooting from the floor, 17, 4 and 3. Isaiah Thomas was steady, 14 and 9. Bill Lambier, 8, 14 and 2 blocks. And Detroit looks like they shot better than us from the field. They had more free throw attempts, even though our free throw shooting was better percentage-wise. They also looks like they won the rebounding battle. Had more blocks, more steals, only 7 turnovers to our 17. So led by as many as 25. It looks like they really took control in the second and third quarters. Is kind of when they put the game out of reach, and then they only extended their lead in the fourth quarter. So as expected, Heat lose to the Pistons 106-89. And next up, we have MJ and the Bulls, and it was a miracle that we won the first game of the year against them. I'm sure if I played them on Superstar difficulty, it would have been an easy dub for Chicago. But we're going to sim this one, and it's the return game to Chicago. So, yeah, definitely expecting to have a 2-game losing streak headed into the Minnesota game. And yeah, a 7-point first quarter is not going to win you many games, and it certainly didn't this one, as the Bulls blew out the Heat 106-71 as we dropped to 10 and 9 on the year, and the Heat improved. And the Bulls improved to 13 and 4. Jordan, MJ didn't have that great of a game. 21 and 7. We'll take that all day when we play him, but looks like Horace Grant put together a strong outing. 18 and 4. Scotty 15, 9 and 5. 2 steals. Looks like Stacey King, the rookie out of Oklahoma, put together a good game. 11 points in 14 minutes. Charles Davis, 10 points in 9 minutes. Craig Hodges, 10 points in 16 minutes. And Bill Cartwright, 9 and 14. So, yeah, I mean, we shot 25 of 81 from the field, 2 of 12 from 3, 7-point first quarter. Man, that's ugly, ugly basketball. And I bet Glenn Rice had a horrible shooting night. Yeah, he did. 11 points, 3 rebounds, 5 of 18 from the floor. Billy Thompson, 5 of 14 from the floor. Sherman Douglas, 4 of 14. An ugly, ugly box score. 31% shooting from the field for us to 49% from the Bulls. Dominated us in the paint, dominated us in the fast break points department. Bench points, we were outscored by 14. We were out-rebounded by a substantial number. The turnovers weren't too bad, but 13-12 is definitely not helping us. Bulls led by as much as 37 in this one. So, yeah, that's kind of what I expected, to be honest, as we still have the guys out with injuries, and we're in Chicago, and the Bulls are starting to hit their stride after they opened the season with the L to us. So we're going to head to Minnesota with 2 losses in a row, but it looks like it's a pretty even matchup from an overall standpoint. So we'll see how we do on the road in the next game that we sim. All right, we've simmed, and it looks like we dropped the game to the Timberwolves by 15 points. But good news is that Ronnie Cycli is healed from his injury and is available to play. So really good news. We'll get into adjusting the rotation here in a second. But let's check out the box score here as we drop to 500 after losing to the Timberwolves by 15. It looks like the big sort of moment in the game came in the third quarter. They outscored us by 7 points and then extended the lead in the fourth quarter. Minnesota improves to 11 and 10. Tyrone Corbin led the way for the Timberwolves, 17 and 5. Jerome Richardson, the rookie out of UCLA, had a good game, 16, 6 and 9 with 3 steals. Randy Brewer, hope I'm saying that right, 7'3" center out of Minnesota, had a really good game, 14 and 12 with 2 blocks. Looks like Tony Campbell is really having a breakout season in his first year in Minnesota. 20 points, 6 rebounds, almost 4 assists per game. He had a inefficient 11, 7, and 6 on 4 of 15 from the field, but didn't look like that mattered too much. So Sam Mitchell here, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, also hit a 3. And another double-digit scorer, Doug West, the rookie out of Villanova, the second rounder. 10 points, 2 assists in 15 minutes, and then a couple of guys with 8 points too. So really an all-around balanced scoring effort from the T-Wolves. 6 guys in double figures, and then 2 others with 8 points. So great balance from the Timberwolves. Glenn Rice led us with 33 points in this one, 3 rebounds, an assist, and a steal, and a block. Pretty good shooting night from him. Wow, John Sundfeld, plus 18. Why didn't we play him more? 20 minutes on the court, and he was plus 18. 11 points, 7 assists. But our starters, brutal, minus 31. Kevin Edwards, 10 points, 5 rebounds. Only 5 of 5 from the field. He should have shot more. Sherman Douglas, 10 points, 2 assists, 5-11 from the field. Not anything to write home about. Billy Thompson, 3 of 13. So a lot of his shots were way off the mark. Should have given his shots to Sundfeld and Edwards by the looks of things. Going through the rest of the box score, Terry Davis, 1 of 9. Rory Sparrow, 0 of 2. So it looks like our bench guys who came in gave us a pretty good lift, but the starters were absolutely dominated by the Timberwolves. You don't really see box scores like this where we have a plus 31 and a minus 19 on the same play for players from the same team. That's an interesting nugget looking at this box score. We shoot 45%, T-Wolves blistering 56% from the floor. Free throw numbers look pretty even. Points in the paint, T-Wolves dominated us 56-38. Turnovers, we only had 10 in this one, so not too bad, but only had doesn't look like when we did have the lead, it was just at the end of the first quarter, but otherwise the team was built up as much as a 23-point lead. So if I had to guess based on this box score and look at this plus minus, it looks like we caught up in garbage time, but otherwise T-Wolves handled us pretty easily. So now let's look at the schedule. We didn't do too great, honestly, in the absence of Ronnie Cycli. We only won 2 games in that time, and they were both against the expansion teams. So essentially we lost to every other team that was that could be competitive enough to really play us. But the good news is that we get Ronnie Cycli back in time for the Detroit Pistons game in Detroit. They are 12-8 overall, 6-4 in their last 10, but a 95 overall squad. I think I'm going to play this one. I'm just going to double check to make sure Ronnie is full go, and that he's not, suffered from an overall standpoint too much as he's healing. So it looks like he's down 3 overall. He's 79 overall. So he is recovering from the injury. I think I feel good about putting him back into the rotation. I think I won't start him, but I do want to give him a good amount of minutes. So let me spread this out a little bit. Terry Davis, your minutes are going to go way down. Ronnie Cycli, minutes go way up. I think he'll be kind of the de facto 6th man for us as we kind of rebuild the rotation with some of these guys coming back from injury. We're still missing Tellus Frank. He's out with a high ankle sprain for 1 to 2 more weeks. But we are close to getting back to 100%, so I would like to see that and start playing a couple more games with the full roster. But we are in December 8th, and the next game is against the Detroit Pistons. Let's take a look around the league really quick, and then we'll end this episode, guys. Thanks so much for watching and getting this far into the video. Really appreciate it. So here in the Eastern Conference, the Pistons are actually the 5 seed. The playoffs started today. The Pacers are leading the way with 15 wins and 4 losses. The Bulls are 14-4. The Cavs are 15-5. So those 3 teams from the Central Division are pacing the way. And as we go through the standings, we are on the outside of the playoff chase at the moment after that losing streak and struggling with pretty much every team that we played against during Sim, and those losses to the Lakers as well did not help things. So yeah, we're creeping towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference now, but we are 10-10 playing 500 ball, so still a little ahead of schedule, I think. And we'll look at the Western Conference real quick. The Jazz are 14-4, Lakers 13-6, Nuggets 13-7. A couple 500 teams here, so definitely looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season plays out as we approach the quarter point of the season. Let's look at the league leaders real quick. Michael Jordan leading the league in scoring, 33.3 points per game, on 57% shooting and 40% shooting from three, 41% shooting from three. He's shooting 18 of 44 from three-point land. So MJ continuing to put together some really good numbers as we approach the quarter pull of the season. Patrick Ewing, 31 points, 11 rebounds per game. Tom Chambers, his points per games have gone down a little bit since we called out the 31 points per game he was scoring after he went off for 45 against us. Charles Barkley, 28.5 and 12. Karl Malone, 28 and almost 11. Dominique. David Robinson having an outstanding rookie season for the Spurs, 24 and almost 12 with 2 blocks per game and a steal, as almost 2 assists as well. So him and Glenn Rice are going to be battling for Rookie of the Year. I think it'll eventually go to David Robinson because he's more efficient, has way more rebounding, and still outscoring Glenn Rice and is shooting better from the field and all that. But we'll definitely make the all-rookie team, I think, at this point with Glenn Rice. Glenn Rice is 8th in the league in scoring, which is great to see. His shooting could be better, but I mean, he is the first scoring option on a team that doesn't have a ton of scoring potency. He's definitely chucking a lot of threes. Reggie Miller has 158 threes though, so he's still far behind Reggie, but definitely not shooting nearly as well as Reggie is, who is right behind him and 9th in the league in scoring. Here's Larry Bird. His scoring numbers are a little down from what we saw earlier in the year, but still 21.5, 8 and almost 7. You'll take that. Chuck is leading the league in rebounding. Akeem Olajuwon is right behind him. Let's look at assists. John Stockton, of course, leading the league in assists with Kevin Johnson second. Magic coming in with almost 9 assists per game. Isaiah Thomas leading the league in steals. Patrick Ewing leading the league in blocks. Man, Patrick Ewing might be the front runner for MVP. He's not averaging as many points as Michael, but he's close, and he's got double-digit rebounds, over almost 2.5 blocks. Yeah, Patrick Ewing is having a career year here in New York. I mean, he's the 3rd best rated player in the file at the moment, so he's really hitting his prime now. And Patrick Ewing, yeah, outstanding season so far for him. So here we look at the headlines. Psychically optimistic about return after fractured eye socket. I gotta say, his new cyber face really accentuates those eye sockets. But it's good to see him on his way to returning to the court. He's not quite 100%, but I think I do want to play this Pistons game with him back in the fold to get revenge for losing at home in Sim. We'll play them in Detroit. Our overall is up a little bit with Ronnie expected to be back in the lineup. We'll be bringing him off the bench in this one, but probably will still get starters minutes. But we do need to get back on track here as we are been recovering from injuries. Hopefully we don't get hit by the injury bug anymore for the foreseeable future, but you never know. I feel like their injuries are pretty realistic in terms of frequency and severity, as long as we don't see too many more for an extended amount of time, but you never know. We might have bad luck the rest of the year, and it'll keep us from not really seeing our full potential. But that's enough of this video, guys. Again, really thank you all so much for watching. It's been fun putting together this series. I'm sorry I'm not getting them out quicker, but I've been having a lot of fun with this association. I will continue to keep it going, even though NBA 2K23 has a pretty cool setup with the My Eras, with the, you know, being able to start the association in the 80s and 90s and the Kobe era. I think is really cool. But there's just something about these old 2Ks that always brings me back, and I'll always continue to come back to NBA 2K14 and this outstanding NBA 2K14 UBR mod that Hawk23 and company have created. So in the next video, we'll take on the Detroit Pistons and sim a few more games after that. Maybe we'll play the Cleveland game. They look like to be a pretty good team, 15-5, one of the best teams in the league, even though their overall isn't quite as high. So that could be an interesting game to play. But we'll see. Detroit definitely on the docket next in the next video. So take care, everyone. We'll see you in the next one.